It's Monday. Better Call Saul Day.
Well, I figured it was time for a new video. Hey guys, it's Aaron, or LM9, and today I'd like to show you guys my custom LEGO minifigures from Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. And I never really intended to make any customs from these shows at this time, but after catching up on Better Call Saul over the summer and then watching the last season as it aired, really got me inspired to recreate some characters in LEGO form. Now, since I have 10 figures to show you for this project, I split this video up into two halves, so let's start with the first 5. I feel it's only right to start with Jimmy McGill, also known as Saul Goodman. Now, just to get it out of the way, since a lot of people on Instagram and TikTok just couldn't fathom this, yes, he does have a modified hand that is pointing. Call it cursed if you want, but it's a signature pose of his in the shows, and I really wanted to achieve it somehow. So I did this by carefully cutting the hand with an X-Acto knife and then bending the fingers with a pair of rounded jewelry pliers. It may look unnatural to some, but I do really like it. Now, picking a suit was a challenge since Jimmy wears several different extravagant suits throughout both shows, and they're all just so iconic. I wanted to have something that had flair, but was slightly tame and respectable, since that's kind of how Jimmy was throughout Better Call Saul, so I went with the suit he wears at the beginning of Season 6. Now, this may have ultimately been a bad choice, because my eyes almost fucking exploded while painting all of the stupid plaid lines on this thing, but I did survive, and the plaid turned out pretty nice. It started as a base paint of light gray, then I painted all of the suit outlines in black just to get like a general shape of the clothes and the angles that I needed. Now the dark gray and the lighter gray lines for the stripes are then added across the whole entire body, across the torso, arms, and legs. Then I added the details like the buttons, the shoes, and the shadows along the collar. He's also got a purple button-up and a tie painted onto his torso as well. Now, the face is probably my best likeness I've ever painted, in my opinion. Everything on this was painted except for the base of the eyes, and I'm just really, really proud of it. Lastly, the hair was sculpted by my friend Jared Figs and then was painted up by me. In terms of accessories, I drilled a hole into his coffee cup and then painted it up to resemble his world's second best lawyer again cup. Also, I do have a few little Eclipse Graphics cinnamon rolls just to give him. Now, I couldn't make Jimmy without one of the best characters across both shows, Kim Wexler. Now, for Kim, I decided to make her in a kind of plain black suit since I was making her at the same time as Jimmy, and I couldn't mentally paint anything more complex than this. Naturally, starting with her feet, painted some heels on in black and then used some dark gray paint to make the negative space. Up on her torso, I did a very, very light sculpt of her jacket just so it could hang over her skirt piece just a little bit. The skirt itself was made using just some vinyl material. Now, both the jacket and the skirt were painted up in black with some gray outlines for the lapels, pockets, and the wrinkles. Under the jacket is a light blue or teal button-up. One thing I really like is the shadowing I achieved up in the collar area of this button-up through the use of a darker blue color. Now, I also used a javelin-style crazy arm from Crazy Bricks and a cigarette from Citizen Brick to make it appear like she's taking a drag. Minifigs, chain-smoking cigs, just what LEGO would have wanted, right? Her face started off as one of the female Ghostbusters as a base, but then I modified the mouth and repainted the eyebrows to make it look more like Kim. I also had to completely sculpt her hair besides the actual tail of the ponytail, since LEGO's official ponytail piece just didn't look quite right in the front. Then I just painted this up. Now, to round out our trio of lawyers, here's the greatest legal mind you ever knew, Howard Hamlin. You know, Howard was such a good guy in the show. Sure, he had his faults, but shit, man, he did not deserve all that crap Jimmy and Kim threw at him, and definitely did not deserve to meet his demise at the hands of Redditors tormenting him through Cameo.
Howard, you need to leave.
Who are you? Me? Nobody.
The One Piece! The One Piece is real! You're gonna scare away your clients. Maybe just keep that to yourself.
Now, for some reason, I was very excited to make Howard. I painted his suit in a slightly metallic dark blue, dare I even say Hamlindigo blue. All the outlines and the detail work were done in black. His fashionable white collar and his tie were painted on as well. Now, I chose kind of this outfit combo from this lovely picture of Howie. His face was painted to match Howard's smirk in this picture as well. It's not perfect, but I think the painted likeness still does work here. Now, the hair is sculpted from scratch and painted in tan with a Citadel kind of brown shade paint in it. Now, not too complex of a figure, but I am definitely pleased with it. Moving on from that degenerate coke addict, here is the family man, Jorge de Guzman. Oh, right. Lalo Salamanca. Lalo was the first figure I made for this project, mainly because I just thought he was so much fun to watch. That dude captures that terrifying nature of Gus, but is just so much more chaotic. You can't help but just have fun with him when he's on screen. Now, this figure is based on Lalo in Season 6 when he's in Mexico. I really like that red scarf outfit. You know, AMC really does love their villains with red scarves, huh? Anyway, this red scarf along with the collar are sculpted. I usually don't really do sculpted collars. It's not really my style, but I felt like this was necessary on this figure to kind of help blend that scarf into the torso. Now, once these parts were sculpted, I painted the shirt in like a medium kind of grayish blue color, black for the main outlines and the pockets, and then I used a dark blue for the wrinkles. I also used a light bluish gray for the wear around the edges of the stitched areas. His pants are just a dark brown with some black detail on it, and the shoes are just tan with some dark gray paint. Moving back up to the head, I used the new medium tan skin tone for him. This head started off as a Din Djarin head, but then I erased all of the print except for the eyes. Yes, I did defile a brand new and hard-to-get head just for this figure. I painted the open smile, teeth, mustache, eyebrows, and the wrinkles on the face. And like Jimmy, this hair was sculpted by Jared Figs and then painted by me. In terms of accessories, Lalo just has this small pistol from Tiny Tactical. The last Better Call Saul exclusive figure I have is Nacho Varga. Now, initially, I didn't include Nacho in my lineup, but I did have 9 figures planned, so I just threw him in to round it up to an even 10. He's very prominent throughout Better Call Saul, so I'm not really sure why I didn't plan on him initially, but I'm glad I ended up including him. He's probably like the least involved figure out of this whole project, not a whole lot going on with him. His pants are just standard black Lego legs with the shoes painted on and the wrinkles added. The shirt was painted in red with black for the main outlines and dark red for the wrinkles and stitching. He also has a gold necklace painted onto his torso. The sleeves are painted to look rolled up on the arms, and on his left arm I did add a few of the bracelets that he wears in the show. Moving up to the face, it's completely painted except for the base eyes. I'm really pleased with the mouth and the facial hair on this guy for sure. Also, I know Nacho isn't fully bald. I'm very well aware of that, but his buzz cut is so short and close to his head that I felt like I didn't really need to give him any hair. I armed Nacho with a painted Brick Arms UCS pistol. Now, Nacho does close out the first 5 figures of this project for Better Call Saul. You know, when I started this video, I thought about making this into 2 videos, but I wanted to avoid comments like this. So now let's take a look at the 5 figures I made for Breaking Bad.
Kid named Finger.
Hey, kid named Finger, if that's your real name.
Hey, kid named Finger.
Kid named Finger. Hey, kid named Finger.
Oh, finger.
Starting off, here is the internet's favorite, Mike Ehrmantraut. Mike, along with everyone else in this half, appeared across both shows, so they aren't exclusive to Breaking Bad. It just made the most sense to split these figures up this way. Now, Mike is always wearing a black jacket and dark pants, so that's exactly what I painted him in. The pants are a very dark gray with black and lighter gray details along with some black shoes. His waist has a black belt painted on with a silver buckle. The torso has a sculpted collar just to give it some depth on the jacket. It was painted black and has some dark gray details for the stitching, zippers, and the wrinkles on it. The undershirt is a medium blue polo with a collar painted on. Now moving up to the face, it was completely painted other than those base eyes. Heavy inspiration for this head came from the Moose Figs' mic, so shout out to him for practically letting me copy his mic. Now Mike here is armed with a silver painted Brick Arms snub-nose revolver. Next, here's one of the greatest TV villains of all time, Gus Fring. He's just so damn good at this role. How does he do it?
I was acting.
God, that was terrible. Gus seems to alternate between suits and his Los Pollos uniform a lot throughout both shows, but I was tired of painting suits after making the lawyers, so I went for the Los Pollos fit. The legs are just dark tan with some dark brown wrinkles and shoes painted on. The base torso was just yellow, has outlines for the collar and the pockets in black, as well as the tie in black. I used a little bit of dark gray on the knot of the tie just to give it some highlighting and some depth there, so it doesn't look super flat. I then used some dark yellow paint for the wrinkles and the cuffs. Moving up, the head was painted by me. I tried to make him have that kind of low, unimpressed eyeline like Mike has. Everything like the mouth, the glasses, eyebrows, and the wrinkles were painted. The hairpiece is a heavily sanded Lego piece that resembles Gus's tight haircut. And to accessorize, of course, I had to make his box cutter, which started off as a Lego bar piece and a piece of styrene, and the rest was sculpted just to shape it up.
Walt, I don't know, man. You've been seeming sus lately.
The final 3 figures are based off of outfits from the episode Ozymandias, which remains one of the best episodes of all time. If you couldn't figure it out, this is Hank Schrader. Starting with the head, I used a Jerry Seinfeld head as a base by erasing all of the print except for the eyes. The eyebrows, mouth, face wrinkles, and his scar were then painted on. Now, Hank is a rather large fella, so I did sculpt the little belly on the torso, and then I sculpted his bomber jacket over top that. The shirt was then painted in a dark orange color, which has some black details for the collar, and just an even darker kind of orangish red for the wrinkles. Now, the jacket has some gray details for outlines, the pockets and the wrinkles. Also has a different color black or different finish black for the actual collar piece on there. And I did use some Citadel gold paint for the zipper. I also added a little sleeve pocket on his arm, since that's what these bomber jackets usually have. He does have a belt and a buckle painted onto his legs, which are just dark blue jeans. On the pants, I did add some black details for the wrinkles and painted his boots. Now, Hank is armed with a painted brick tactical Glock, but as a joke, I also made his little mineral grabber and a piece of manganese for him to pick up. Here's the Ozymandias version of Jesse Pinkman. Now, to get it out of the way, I sculpted a pack of cigarettes with the rice and cig in it as an accessory, since it's pretty important to the plot surrounding Jesse. Now, focusing on the legs, Jesse is sporting some matte black jeans with some dirty sneakers. The torso has an oversized color block shirt with dark red, blue, and yellow painted on, with then a wash over top that just to dirty it up. The jacket was sculpted along with the folding collar parts, the hood, and the tassels. This is then painted in black with some gray outlines and some red detailing around the shoulders. Taking a look at his right hand, you guys can see the tattoo painted on, which I am really proud of. Moving up to the head, I don't really think it's perfect for Jesse, but I can't really figure out what to fix on it to make it perfect. Like everyone else, this head is entirely painted except for the base eyes. I really like the facial hair on this guy, but yeah, then again, something just about the likeness I think I can improve on. Now, the hair is a heavily sanded Lego hairpiece like Gus, which then resembles the buzz cut in this episode rather than his typical kind of longer hair in the earlier seasons that he's kind of known for. Overall, I think I could improve this figure just a little bit, but I think it does do the job for now. Lastly, to bookend this project, here is my new Walter White. This outfit is kind of the whole reason I decided to make the Ozymandias trio. I just really like that tan jacket and blue shirt combo too much. It's truly iconic. The legs are just dark gray legs with an even darker gray for the wrinkles and pockets, which are super uneven, but I digress. He also has some black shoes and the belt painted on with a belt buckle. The torso has a thin jacket sculpt and a collar sculpt, which was then painted up in tan. All of the outlines on the jacket are done in beige, and the wrinkles are in a khaki color. The shirt underneath is a light blue with some main black outlines and some dark blue wrinkles. For the 9th time, the head has everything painted except for the base eyes. It also has a very, very slight sculpt for the goatee, since his goatee is pretty prominent in the later seasons. I do think I could have gone a little lighter on the forehead wrinkles, but other than that, I am happy with this Walt. Now, before we close out this video, I wanted to show you guys these newer figures compared to the old versions I made back in 2014 and 2015. 2014 was when I did my very first Breaking Bad project, and then in 2015, I made a new Jimmy for the premiere of Better Call Saul. It's really fun to take a glimpse at some of my past work and see how painting and sculpting styles have evolved, and I think these figures are great examples at showing that change. Overall, it was really fun to revisit this project like 8 years later to revamp all of these characters. It really makes me want to visit another prominent AMC show to update some figures. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and enjoyed these figures. Sorry I haven't uploaded in like almost 6 months. I just personally haven't had the juice to make videos since they just take a lot of time and I just don't have a lot of time anymore. But I am still regularly making figures, so check me out on Instagram for more regular content like that. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys later.